You know what I was thinking of doing, you guys? I was thinking about doing an Amazon Live from France with all of the things I wish I could get for Christmas that I can't afford. What do you think about that idea? I kind of like it. It's like aspirational shopping. I don't know. Anyway, it's an idea I've been playing around with. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. I want to say that today's video has nothing to do with love, because it's pretty apparent from the shocking hot mic moment that Andy Cohen released on Watch What Happens
that Dr. Lenny has lost that loving feeling for his wife, Lisa Hochstein.
I'm watching it in the dark.
Hope to show you as an early Christmas present a moment from the new season of Miami Housewives that is going to leave you flabbergasted. You thought you had seen caught on mic moments, hot mic moments. Take a look at this.
I'm so scared.
After the past few weeks, I officially said that. I heard there was like issues, but actually anything specific.
Yeah. Same stuff it's always been. You know, I do anything I want whenever I want, and you stay home and go to work and come back.
We discussed it a lot.
All the time.
I don't want to see that happen.
I do.
I consider myself a Dr. Lenny, Lisa Hochstein divorce expert because I've read all the proceedings, right? And so I wanted to break this down to you guys now that you've heard it so that you could hear what my thoughts are, knowing what's been going on in the legal filings as well. So it begins by his friend Vitor saying, "I'm officially single, rah, rah." And Dr. Lenny then says, in a couple of months, I might be single too. Like, let's get ready to go out together. Then Vitor's like, I heard there might be some issues, but I didn't hear anything specific to Dr. Lenny. And then Dr. Lenny, well, of course he did, because he's probably watching my channel, and we've been reporting this for a while. Dr. Lenny had another affair before the Katerina one. They called it an emotional affair, but when I did a deep dive on it, it wasn't just an emotional affair. If you want to learn more about that, go to the Real Housewives of Miami playlist in my YouTube channel, and you'll see the video about her. It's pretty clearly labeled. Now, the part that I really thought was juicy in this was he says, yeah, it's the same stuff it's always been, you know? Dr. Lenny says this to Vitor. So what, like, it's always been, he says. Like, this problem has been in their relationship for a very long time. And I believe that in season 4, there was also problems brewing in their relationship. So obviously they haven't had a good marriage for a lot of years, at least from Dr. Lenny's perspective. So everybody's ears peaked up, like, what's the problem? Because he seems like he's going to say it. And instead he does this cryptic thing where he says, I do anything I want whenever I want, and you go, leave home, go to work, and come back. So I'm curious to see what you guys think of that statement. Either he's saying he feels kind of like Lisa's just using him for money, and all she requires of him is to go to work and make money and come home, and then she gets to do whatever she wants. Or he's saying something more to the effect of like, I go to home, I go to work, and then I do whatever I want, and that's kind of the way the relationship has been, meaning outside relationships. It was so cryptic. I wasn't really sure how to take that, so I'm curious to your opinions. So maybe living separate lives is the bottom line. They're really living separate lives. And he's kind of like, why am I in this relationship? Because maybe Dr. Lenny wants to have a really high-sexed, intimate relationship based on what he ended up leaving Lisa Hochstein for, who he ended up leaving Lisa Hochstein for, a hot model who is very highly sexual from her Instagram feed, I can only imagine.
so cute.
I'm going to put on my Sesame Street hat on now. If you guys don't know what that is, Google it. But I believe the L on her boob is for Dr. Lenny, and it's a post sending a message, okay? He also expresses that him and Lisa have spoken about this problem for a lot of times together. It's not like they haven't tried to discuss it through, but I guess it's not happening. It's not getting progressed in a way that Dr. Lenny feels like it's going to result in any kind of saving of the marriage. Obviously, this hot mic moment happened way ahead of the divorce, probably, 10 months ago maybe, or something like that, at least 6 months ago. Vider's like, I don't want to see that happen to you guys breaking up, and Dr. Lenny is like, I do. So he's like, finito. He does not want this marriage anymore. And again, he's been on the edge, I think, on this marriage for a long time. And Lisa Hochstein has been the one who's been trying to preserve it for a few reasons. I'd say lifestyle and the children being number one, and I'll put them together. And number two, I'd say that, she loved the idea of her family, and she didn't want to see that. She gets probably a lot of identity from her family, and having that identity yanked away might set her into motion of really not knowing who she is even. I don't think they needed to do much editing on that hot mic moment. I think that was legitimately the way Dr. Lenny was feeling about his marriage, because in truth, that is reflected in the legal documents that he's filed. This just absolutely wants out, does not want, see you later, alligator. Wants to make sure his kid's okay, but wants to cut ties with Lisa Hochstein, get her, stable and out, and doesn't want to overprovide for her. I think he resents her. I really get the feeling he really resents her for some reason. So what do you guys think about all this? Now, there was a whole bunch of, gossip about her saying she can't, pay for diapers and all this stuff. And I did read that filing, and I did a whole bonus audio about it. And when you read the filing, you realize that it's very inaccurate, that headline. She is living at a very ridiculous lifestyle. And for her, what she considers, bare minimum would be what other people would consider upper class. So it's very difficult to relate to it as a regular person, as that she's really in need, okay? Things like, I had to take an Uber with my kids somewhere, it's like, most of us, that's a luxury. Some people have to take the bus with their kids everywhere, give me a break. But needless to say, she's trying to preserve her level of lifestyle, and I believe that's where she's coming from in the filings that she's doing. She has requested his tax returns. He's requested to know how much she's making on the show. In the end, this is all a futile exercise, because there is a prenup, and I really do believe it'll end up being enforced, but she's choosing to try to see if she can push it. Meanwhile, him and Katerina seem like they're serious, but Katerina also is kind of leaving things open, I think. If he doesn't play ball in the way she wants, she's just going to go off with somebody else because she's super hot. And she can, frankly. I know that he's been working out, trying to keep up with her on the hot side. He's always got money, so he can just use that, I suppose. Can't be good for business, all this negative PR, though. Unfortunately, I feel like this is just going to end badly, mainly because Dr. Lenny, I think, sees Lisa Hochstein as the mother of his children, but also an opportunist. He himself is an extreme narcissist, so he'll never see himself as anything but the victim. Katerina's found herself, publicly in the middle of a nightmare, and she should never have hooked up with him before the marriage was over. Even though they say that didn't happen, it doesn't seem that way. And, anytime you go for a man for money, he's going to never respect the relationship. And unfortunately, it's going to end up being a tough fight for you. because he's going to say, well, you're a bitch because you just came for me for the money from the beginning. And so he's going to always anchor himself in that perspective, unfortunately. Oh, my sweet friends, all I can tell you is it sounds so nice to get with a rich guy and be swept off your feet like in the movies, but it doesn't really work that way. The higher the man up the echelon, the weirder. And I've said this many times on my podcast, it takes a weird programming to become super successful, unfortunately. But also, you know, keep your power, ladies and men. Keep your power. I know some of you guys are invested in my Botox results because we've been talking about it. So here's a clip that I did with no makeup and no filter. What do you think? There it is, kids. Sorry if I frightened anyone. All right, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. I'll try to do one more video before I leave for Paris. Oh, by the way, Erika Jayne Girardi's earrings just got sold for $250,000. The ones that she turned in, not the $750,000 ones. Those are still missing.